Yep, we are live. Yeah, boy.
See, now I can see.
Yeah,
This
the
is
cosmic
crazy.
nature of relationships. Yeah, we're gonna have a good show today. It's been we took a long break, which was definitely needed. But we're back. We are back. I'll wait for DCR. Yeah, pop in. So, what's been up? This is another brainwashed on heavy show by way of POD. That's like our sister channel. And we are back. It's been a minute. We took a break.
We are back.
Everybody had to recharge and do some traveling here and there. But yeah, we're back. We're back. What's been up with you?
Nothing but a lot.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, nothing but a lot. I was in Jersey for a little while. I think like 6 days. It's supposed to be five, but they canceled our flight on the way back. So I was stuck there another day. Um, I was in a wedding and I had the most fantastic time in New Jersey. I saw everybody. I haven't been there in like 13 years. And yeah, it was really, really nice. I didn't expect it because I was like trying to be low key. That was my
Yeah.
goal, to be low key. I don't like too much. Sometimes I'm not always peoply, but it started off as soon as I got there, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was so excited to see people, different people.
It'd be like that when you go back home. Yeah, it's a nostalgic type of situation. Of course, I'm kind of the same way, trying to be low key, and because my situation is mostly people want to see me, and if they find out that I've been to a particular area and I didn't come see them, that's a whole problem, and then I got to explain that, and so sometimes it's beneficial for me to kind of like pop in and pop out.
Hmm.
Jersey's a little different. Like, I let people know I'm there, and those who want to see me, and keep in mind, my circle is pretty tight. So those who want to see me, they'll see me, and I don't expect those who don't. I would be very shocked if somebody that I really didn't uh, hang with like that would want to see me. So I don't get those, but they're welcome. I mean, I'm a people person, so but at the same time, um, I know my what do you call it? My lane. So sometimes people want to kind of pull you to do certain things, and it's like, no, I'm not,
Right.
it's not my speed anymore. So, but yeah, other than that, I'll be in Jersey on the 6th of July, and I'll be there about 6 days. So I'm looking forward to that. I know down here
I
in
think
Atlanta,
by
it's like,
the sixth day, I was like, by the day that it was time to come back, like I was so ready. So I guess the day before we checked the flight, and I was like, oh shit, like we're here for another day. So, but by the time it was time to leave, like I was ready to leave because
yeah, that's
yeah,
normal.
it's nice to be there, see, and leave.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I never get wanting to stay longer. Yeah, but once you're there, about 5 days, 6 days, okay, you've pretty much done uh, pretty much what you wanted to do. I go to Atlantic City, spend time on the beach. I go to Seaside, take the kids to Seaside. They do the rides and all that, and water park. Um, and that's really it. Just see friends and chill at my mom's. You know.
That's so nice. I saw the boardwalk. Like I said, I haven't been there in 13 years. So like, and I didn't drive because I wanted to see, like, I wanted to be driven, chauffeured around and to
Yeah.
see things, you know? And it's so different. But the one thing I'll say is that, like, when we were younger, everything was like new and fresh and, you know, like, but now going back after so long, everything looks old. Like, because those same structures that I remember being there, except for like the hospital and stuff like that. But I mean, like my old neighborhood and just like different. I went to like every neighborhood that you know, Asbury and every old house that I lived in, and the same structures are there. You know what I mean? Like especially up the hill, a lot of the same houses are there, and they look like they just look old now. Like they look just not, I don't want to say run down, but they just look old, you know, if that makes sense.
I don't think those neighborhoods change too much. I think the new developments, like the little subdivisions and things that they've built, that's
Hmm.
the only thing that's going to be modern. Now, if you go closer towards the beach,
Well, yeah, I did. And I saw a lot of like,
yeah, this
I even saw this one house that was so modern. I'm like, this house belongs in like Miami or, you know, somewhere because it was like really, really nice. Some of
yeah,
the structures were like really nice, but yeah, up the hill I went to Sunshine because my brother and his wife, like they live over there, and I'm like, wow, like you know when you're younger everything was like so new and just nice, you know, and then now it's like the same structures but they just look run down, like they don't look the same. Not run down, but they don't look the same.
it's not going to have the same effect of when we were growing up.
Mm-mm, definitely.
That's like my old projects, the village. Um, when I was younger, those buildings were the biggest ever to me. Everything was big. Looking at it now, it doesn't look that big.
No.
Um, and it's weird to say that they've improved it somewhat, but when it didn't have those improvements, it was more enjoyable as us
Right.
growing up there. Like
Right.
there were certain areas where there were grass. We played in these areas, and but that's not there anymore. And the light poles, and they took the light poles down, but we used to use those light poles and to play tag and all this other stuff. So it you get older, those things change, and they don't have the same look, but you can still get that sense of feel when you visit them. They just look different. But yeah,
I even
that's
went through
that.
the Boston Way. Like that was like so different. Not
Well, the
what I
Boston Way
remember.
doesn't exist anymore.
Well, you know.
The area, yeah,
Yeah, the area.
yeah. I think they built some homes or something over there. I don't know what
Yeah,
they
I
call
was
it.
I was so surprised, like just seeing, like, oh my gosh, look, and you know,
Yeah,
my family is like, you haven't seen this, like, it's been there, and it's like, no, I haven't, you know.
yeah. They're working their way up. I think all the way up to like probably Highway 35, as far as just you know.
Even the highways were like living there, they were like huge. Like, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, you go back and
But
things look small.
oh my gosh, they look so tiny. Like the circle.
Yeah, the circle.
Tiny. I was like, what the heck happened? Like nothing happened. It's just
Yeah, we were little.
we
Well,
were, yeah, we were
we were
younger.
younger, and All right, so could you hear us now? Yes, no, maybe so.
He's eating. What are
Yeah,
you eating, Pot?
something that we discussed that he probably wouldn't eat. Scumbag. Yo, Pot, connect to the Wi-Fi, man. You breaking up. You choppy.
Oh my
And we live just to let y'all know. So yeah,
Pot
chop
is
up.
eating some shenanigans that we just talked about.
That's a Klondike bar.
Oh my god!
Klondike bar.
I wish he could pass me one through the phone.
Yeah, right.
I would so eat one right now.
Yeah. Hold on for one.
It's just fucking damn, man. It just doesn't do nothing for me.
You okay? You want an orange? No? You sure? Okay. Pot, you're frozen. Can you hear me? Nobody's there.
Say what? Roller coaster. Okay. Where did he go? All right. We're gonna go ahead and
He was frozen. My grandson has a fever.
Yeah, he'll be all right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and open up the show and he said he froze. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and roll. I don't know where he at, but he'll
Probably
pop
trying to
back in.
finish his ice cream.
You ready now?
Oh my gosh.
Let me get a yes.
Yeah,
Sure.
man. Yep.
All right. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and roll credits and I'm gonna get this thing started.
That was rare.
We're back.
Didn't hear that in a long time.
Yeah, we took a break, but we're back. We're back.
We took a break.
That was cool. To take that break to kind of like recharge and yeah, get a little burnout and
Come
stuff
on,
like
man. Yo, this is not good, dog. My phone is dying and it's just too low. Yo, it's so
well,
low. I hope it can be able to hold on.
maybe it won't. I don't know. But we gonna proceed with what you need. I am your brother more
Put it
D.
on the charger.
It
And,
is. You know how when it's too low, sometimes the charger won't be able to hold it up.
Oh,
I'm good right now. I got 5% on this mug.
you'll be all right.
See how it works.
So let's roll, man. We're gonna get into a discussion today about the cosmic nature of relationships. And I know when people hear the term relationship, they automatically go to their personal relationships that they have with another human being. And that's not what you know I'm really talking about, but at the same time, we'll cover that because that's a part of the whole. But when we talk about the cosmic nature of a relationship, we're talking about your relationship to everything around you, whether it be money, food, uh, another human being, material items,
Life shit.
anything. It's a relationship that we build with the outside world, and depending on that relationship, will dictate how pleasurable or painful that experience is going to be. I think the biggest challenge from my own experiences is that when you have bad relationship with things, they produce these results that are considered unhealthy, but necessary. I know that sounds crazy, but there are no mistakes when it comes to how the universe operates. So we're gonna get into the different relationships and their cosmic aspect. And reason why I say cosmic aspect is because there's a greater purpose on why shit is occurring and why you have the type of relationship you have with persons, places, and things. And they are essentially tools in a nutshell. Whether it's good, bad, painful, pleasurable, they're all tools. And most people don't know that. Most people operate from their ego self to say, why me? This is bad or this is good. But they really don't understand the aspect of why it's occurring in the first place. You dig? So let's get it started. So, I'm gonna ask y'all, as far as your relationships are concerned, because I know we talked off camera a couple of days ago about food and how people can have a bad relationship with food. Let's unpack food first, because bad relationships with food tend to create a situation where you're on a kind of a merry-go-round. You're kind of going around and circling and not progressing because of that relationship. But once you understand that relationship and get some balance to it, you're able to grow out of that and move on to something greater. So it's not to forsake where you're at. It's just, you got to question, why sometimes. And food, for instance, I'm giving an example of a bad relationship with food. You have people who they want to be healthier and they'll make decisions to make those changes. And one extreme leads to another. I'm going to say that again. One extreme leads to another. So the level of intensity that you go at something, that's the same level of energy that's going to be coming back, pushing you back into it. So sometimes you got to get into these situations with a little bit of balance and caution and ease. So when it comes down to food, from my own experiences, I've had situations where I knew certain things were not as healthy. And I made an extreme decision to go hard on something to kind of like get it out of my life, right? Not realizing that the more I tried to create all these reasons why I should stay away from something, it created a bad relationship with it simply by saying, if I can't conquer it, I'm always going to have these walls built up to try to stay away from it. And when you have built up walls, those walls are designed to be broken down at some point. And when those walls are broken down, what are you going to do?
Own it. You own it, my brother. You own it.
So what are you going to do when those walls come crumbling down is the question. So you're hiding behind these structures to keep you safe from these things that you consider bad, but you haven't conquered them. And when you conquer them, you don't need to build up walls to stay away from it. It can come into your presence and be what it's going to be, and you good. Go ahead.
Do you still have a wall? You know what I mean? Because you kind of know your wall. Is that a wall or is that a relation? I mean, do you have control over that, or is that a wall with that particular addiction you have to what we talked about yesterday? That ice cream thing.
It's a relationship. It's a bad relationship depending on how you're trying to stay away from it, right?
Right.
But whatever you're using to stay away from it is your proverbial wall.
So what is your wall? To avoid it, to keep it away from your vision?
I think it's levels. I think you should start with, you know, like people say, if you want to be like vegan or vegetarian, right? They got all these transitional items to help you with that, right? They don't be like, just go cold turkey. They be like, okay, boom. If you eat meat 5 times a week, cut it down to 4, and then cut it down to 3, and then cut it down to 2. You see what I'm saying? It's a gradual process.
But you know what, though? Oh, go ahead. But yours is different anyway. Yours is like at a distance anyway. So yours is like across the seas, like you know, in the Bahamas somewhere. Like if you go and visit the Bahamas, then that's when it's right in your face. And that it's like the wall is distance for you, you know, in that situation.
Well, actually, to be honest with you, if I wanted it, I can get it.
I was thinking that. I was gonna say, but if
you can want something, but when you're far away from it, you can easily not, you know, be like, as long as it's not there tempting for him.
So you're saying if it's not readily available, it's easy for me to be in a safe place where it's not tempting me.
Right.
Okay. On one level, that would be true. But when you're talking about, and I'm just gonna use the term addiction, not in the sense of, you know how people use the term addiction, but when you have that level of addiction to something, I don't care where the hell you at, you're gonna figure it out.
Right.
And I don't want to use a crackhead as an example, but let's just say
that's like the prime example right there. Shit.
They're going to find a way no matter what. So when you have a level of addiction for something, you're going to rationalize it and you're going to find a way to make it happen. No matter how far it is, they're going to find a way. So my thing is that the distance helps with me. It helps. But at the same time, I've developed a level of balance where it's not hard pressing anymore. I've kind of burnt it out to a degree. And even if I get the jersey and don't even have that particular ice cream, it still won't even matter to me because I'm still gonna have a nice time. But the thing is, to be honest with you, I put that into my criteria of what I'm gonna do when I get there. It's not that I was gonna say
you probably made it like a tradition.
Oh yeah. You want to ride your favorite train, you know, when you get to where you're going to, you know, when you go into the let's say the carnival, you know, you already got the list on, you know, what rides you're gonna get on and everything, you know what I mean? So yeah. I wish I could send you some. I wish I could send the carnival to you though, man. But I guess there's no way you can transport those things. I would like to just send them a whole.
They have dry ice. They have dry ice for that. I've ordered ice cream. I think it was like some keto ice cream. It tastes horrible, but I've ordered ice cream before, you know, and they delivered it on dry ice. The shit was completely frozen. Yeah. So, but nah, I placed that into my things to do because it's like, you know, it's a list of shit that I pile up. But it's not something that I have to have. So I have a good relationship with it. Put it that way. Right. If I had a bad relationship with it,
are terrible.
You'll have all of it. You'll have it there right now. You know what I mean? You'll be ordering it and all that kind of stuff if you had a bad relationship. But I feel you. So
And bad
That
relationships
would
go
be
two
me.
ways. They go two ways. The bad relationship is I'm gonna do everything in my power to avoid it, which is not good to a degree because you're
Right.
hiding. And the other part is when you have a bad relationship with it where you don't have no control over it. So it's ruling you. So it's two sides to it. I'm gonna do it's like a pendulum swing. One side of the pendulum is I gotta have it by any means necessary. And the other side of the pendulum is I'm gonna stay away from it by any means necessary. Not realizing that that same swing, it has the same amount of force coming back and going. So you got to figure out how to minimize the impact of that particular thing, person, place, or thing that you have that bad relationship with. And we're talking about food here, so
yeah, fried chicken. And I know y'all all know about fried chicken. Whoever listens to us, you know what I mean,
that's your bad relationship.
No, I think that's damn near all of our bad relationship, really. But it's not that bad of one because I can control that. To be honest, the problem with fried chicken is, especially your favorite fried chicken. You know, not just going to any store and get, but your favorite. You know how it's always going to taste. You know it's always, you know what I mean. Gonna put that crispy, that smile on your face when you eating it. Now that is a bad relationship, but if you eat that thing, you'll end up eating fried chicken for about a good week, and then you'll get away from it. You know what I mean?
That's a bad relationship. The fact that you had to eat it for a whole week is bad. That's not a good relationship. I can have it one time and I'm good.
But I get what Pot is trying to say though. Like you eat it, you get it out your system, and you don't want it anymore.
For a week?
Yeah.
Well, you eat it for a
week. No, I'm just saying though. You like you know what? I'm gonna tell you what happened. Like
months and months at a time.
Last weekend, I really didn't want no chicken, but it was all that was available, and I was hungry that day. So I bought the chicken, and I knew I was gonna love it anyway because I know the chicken is good there. So I ate the chicken. Guess what? The next day, what's on my mind? Getting more chicken. You know what I mean? So it's like until it runs out, you know. So that's when I went and you know, try to go on a healthy route with it. I went and bought my own chicken and, you know, air fried it, whatever, you know, because I got the taste for chicken now, you know what I mean? But it's gone now, so I'm good right now. So I kind of saved that when I went towards the healthy side, you know.
What about you, Joe? What's your relationship with food be like? Are you on the side of the relationship of I'm gonna do everything in my power to stay away from it because I know what it's gonna do, or are you on the other side of, you know, I gotta have it by any means necessary, or are you have a bad relationship with both?
I'm on the side of if I was a crackhead, I'd probably be selling my ass for it.
Damn.
So you're on the other side of by any means necessary. I gotta have it.
Yeah.
So what are you trying to have, Jordan?
But it's not like it's so crazy because sometimes like I don't eat. Like I won't eat, but then I'll want sweets. Like I want something sweet. I won't eat all day, you know? Like and it's like I want a piece of cake. Like it's so stupid. Like if you look at my diet schedule, like it's yesterday I did well. I had some salad and coconut water. I had a piece of fish and you know, like that type of stuff. But I wanted some cake or ice cream so bad, and I forced myself. What'd you say?
Ice cream cake. You like ice cream cake?
I love ice cream cake.
No, right? That's a weakness to me too. I'm not gonna lie.
Those little brown crunchy things.
Yeah. That's actually one of my weaknesses too. I got it. If I knew it was ice cream cake downstairs, I'll be all up in it.
You know what's terrible? I have gone to the store and like come back with like groceries and stuff. And you know how they sell the little small ones?
Yeah, the Hershey's. You like the Hershey's one?
It's no reason. I just bought it because I want ice cream cake.
You ever had the Hershey ones from Burger King?
I've probably had, yes.
The little Hershey cake?
Just because I tasted somebody's once and I would go there just to get that.
Yeah, I used to be addicted. I used to buy them every day after work, but I stopped.
So these are bad. So these are the relationships where you're on the other side of the fence of it's pretty much running the show to a degree.
And it sucks because, like I said yesterday, I was like, there's times like I don't eat terribly. Like I don't eat terribly. It's the sweets. If I could get rid of that part, like that aspect, I think I would be fine. But
what does that
it's
do to the relationship if you can get rid of it? See, getting rid of it, how would you get rid of it? Because we're talking about healthy, balanced relationships here with, and we ain't even got to the aspect of why yet. We just dealing with what they are. But to obliterate it and get rid of it and it's gone, where does that put you? Because you
I
got
get
two
what you're saying.
scenarios. You got a scenario of it's gone, and it all depends on how it's gone. Because maybe you are now preventing or setting up these walls to prevent it from coming into your space. Because you can't just snap your finger and just never be encountered with sweets ever again. That shit's
Well,
impossible.
I would like to get to a point where, you know, because you have some people like when things are too sweet. I think you were talking about that too. When things are too sweet, like they have to water it down or they have to. I would like to get to a point where like something, you know, like cake or I only just a little bit and it's okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, this is too sweet
But-
or, you know.
You know, we can talk about that later. You just got to retrain your taste buds. That's easy. Because when you retrain your taste buds and you go back and eat that same stuff, it's gonna be like overwhelming. Like, nah.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
That's
If
what
I
I said. You're
can
gonna
get
love it though.
there.
Yo, man, you gonna love it when you come back. You crazy. You gonna love it when you come back to it.
But you're not gonna be able to partake a lot of that stuff. It's gonna be too much.
If I could even get there, like, or every now and again, like, you know, have like my mother loves ice cream. That's like her favorite thing. She any
It's
kind of
mine,
ice cream
too.
you bring her, she's
Mhm.
like, she doesn't care what kind of ice cream it is. She loves ice cream.
Cookies and
And
cream. Ooh, go ahead.
yeah, she loves ice cream, just any kind. But she says whenever she has like a taste for it, she'll get those little
It's worse.
those little nips, like the little nips that they have, like the little
The cookie.
No, it's just it's shaped like a small ice cream. You're talking about
container.
the little Haagen-Dazs. It's like real little.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
a really, really
That's a
small one.
tease,
Just-
though, man. That's a tease. That's
Nah,
making.
nah,
no, but for
That's
her,
good.
that's good. Like she'll
That's
take
good.
that, she'll have that, and she'll say, okay, like now she got the taste for the sweet out of her
Exactly.
system, and she won't eat it for like another couple of months or so. If
See,
I
and
could
that's
get
having
there, that would be
that's a
good.
good relationship, though. That's a balanced relationship. That's where I'm at. You give me that little thing, I'm good. And if I don't have it for months, I'm still good.
That's
That's
where
a-
I would like to get. But me, it's like an everyday thing. Like I need a piece of something, cake,
Yeah, ice cream
ice
is addicting.
cream,
Man.
a little
now- so-
something like.
So the fact that we're talking about food, let's get to the cosmic nature of it. These situations are occurring, right? The question is, why?
Why? Right.
It tastes good. Shit.
We get that. We get that. But what is the universe trying to push you towards to evolve using these tools? The fact that we're having this discussion and you've already admitted on camera my relationship, whether it's balanced or not, to these foods. But the question is, why? What is the universe? Why is the universe, not why, but the universe is utilizing these tools, ice cream, whatever, sweets, to help you evolve towards what?
I never thought about that. You know, I always
Well-
said to myself, like growing up in a house with like 7 kids and my parents and everything, they never bought sweets. Like they never, like we never even ate out until we like hit a certain age, and it was like occasional, you know, like once a year or whatever the case is. But we never, like my mom would never buy sweets in the house. So
Now
I
we're
always
starting to
said,
get to it. Go ahead.
yeah, I always said like because we never had like a snack cabinet or something like that where we could just kind of like pick. I remember my first time actually. I was in high school, like ninth grade in high school, and that's when I was like able to go to McDonald's because technically speaking, my mom always cooked in the house. Like we didn't eat out. We didn't have this habit of like eating out or eating terrible. And the first time me going to McDonald's, like I wanted a milkshake, I wanted an
Oh,
apple pie, I
no.
wanted
Some old Tony Starks. You remember Tony
I
Starks
wanted
was
all the
up
sweet
in
stuff, like, and it just
uh,
trickled from there. Like we didn't have like, you know, my son's place, like you go in there and you know, it's like little cakes and little stuff and all types of because they have like the kids, but we didn't have
let's be
that
honest though.
growing
So
up.
these,
Sweets put you in a happy place. They put you in a happy place. You know what I mean? It's like La La Land. You know what I mean? It's like it's the most. It's beautiful, even though it's bad. It's a place. Like think about it. When you watch a certain show, there's some type of food that you want to eat when you watching that show, or when you sit up in front of the you know the TV watching Netflix, you think about what you're gonna eat while you watching it. You know what I mean? So you always think about the most refreshing, the most that puts you in a la la land, the thing that make you all jolly, and you know how kids when kids eat sweet, they be everywhere.
So with that being said, and we'll get to your correlation to La La Land and feeling like a kid. We'll get to Joe's situation of growing up and not really having access to sweets and things like that. So you see, now we get into the deeper aspect of our relationship to certain things cosmically, not just it tastes good, but our relationship definitely is a correlation to things that have occurred on our evolutionary travels.
That's true.
For real. So take for instance, you grew up in a house and y'all never had access to sweets. Y'all just didn't do sweets. Y'all was eating cornflakes with no sugar, no nothing. Like you grew up like this. So now that you have the free range to do what you want as a grown-up, you're now indulging in 100 miles per hour of just
and
I
that's
can eat sugar.
Terrible. It's
kind of like it's kind of like a woman. She's good when she's in school and her parents do a good job, but when she get out there, she become wild and everywhere and end up in everybody's bedroom, something like that. I guess that's basically what it is.
That's a bad relationship, but we'll cover that. And your thing is, and this is definitely correlated to your childhood. Yeah, and your safe place, your safe, comfortable place is. I'm gonna try to paint a picture because I don't know what year, but let's just say G.I. Joe men.
Damn,
you're in your attic. It was just a time frame where we were younger. You was always in your attic. You had a bunch of toys and your mom's always cooking for you. We would watch movies. Imagination.
Yeah, it's like you needed that food. It's like you needed that certain food for. Put it this way, you don't want to buy no food. The worst thing, and that goes for anybody. Put it this way, when you get in your car, let's say you buy something that you like real good, you don't want to eat. Sometimes you eat that shit before you get to the house. You're pissed off. It's like you trying to hold it back for that certain show, and then when you get your whole platform ready, wherever you sitting down at, you trying to hold on to that food for that. You ain't trying to like for instance, McDonald's. I still can't beat this with McDonald's. I still can't get no fries at home. The fries is gone by the time I get to the house. McDonald's fries is gone by the time I get to the house, dog. I'm eating them on the way, man. I don't know anybody that could probably hold on to some McDonald's fries.
That's something you have to eat hot. Like once they get cold,
yeah.
It's a wrap.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, when you tear those up, they never make it to the house. The fries, they never make it to the house. They're like an appetizer on your way to the house. You know what I mean?
So yeah, I think cosmically, man, we have weird unbalanced relationships with food because it's plugging up holes, in our evolution, far as whether it come from our childhood, lack thereof of not having access to it, or in our childhood having a lot of access to it. Because I had a lot of access to it growing up, and I don't really care for it too much now.
That's probably why.
But most definitely, the jewel cosmically is our relationships to persons, places, and things are tools to help us evolve to a higher state. And this, and the example is when a person has a very bad relationship with food and it's causing health issues and disease within that individual. You got to understand that, yes, that would be considered something undesirable, the fact that they maybe develop diabetes or something. But that whole scenario is a tool to help that person evolve to the next level of healing that relationship that they have with food, right? And then healing the aspect of their body that has developed this dis-ease through that relationship that they had with the food that caused them to have diabetes in the first place. So now you get rid of the diabetes. You have a healthy relationship with food now because you've educated yourself throughout that journey. So you know about food, carbs, this, that, sugar, bad sugar, hidden sugar, blah, blah, blah. So you now educated yourself on that level to know how to maneuver through the whole thing. Now you have a healthy relationship where you don't even got to build up a wall to stay away from sugar, not to develop diabetes again, because you've mastered it. You conquered it. So it don't bother you anymore. So now you have a healthy relationship with food. And that in itself, all of that is cosmic. All of that is a spiritual journey, whether we know it or not, but it's all spiritual because it helps you evolve from one state to the next. And that's hard for people to digest, no pun intended. But the bottom line is every situation you get in is a tool to help you evolve, no matter how bad or fucked up it looks.
That's true.
You got to evolve to the next level. Go ahead.
I think a lot of people who have serious issues, like they get worse and worse because, you know, when I said it's a happy place, when you're very depressed, think about it. Have you ever ate your favorite ice cream having bad thoughts? Have you ever ate any, you know what I mean? Anything like, it's like, it's like an escape. It's just like an escape. Like, let's say you're overweight from eating too much, whatever, you got these issues. But you can keep eating that kind of stuff. But really, the real case is you eat it to forget about what it's doing to you. It's, to some degree, it's like because it puts you in a happy place. It's like you get away from you. It's like you get away from everything when you. Man, I don't think about nothing when I'm eating my favorite, bro. If I'm eating Klondike bars or any of that kind of shit, man, I ain't think about if I owe somebody $1 million, if somebody in the backyard trying to kill me. As long as I'm eating that right now, I'm happy, laid back, slobbing up, like whatever, man. It's like it takes your mind away from the stress of everything around you. So a lot of people eat these foods too for a neutralizer to keep them from being stressed out.
Yeah, it's like an emotional type of
like that. Put you in La La Land.
You just explained. You just explained how legalized drugs work, because food is a drug. The chemicals in it are drugs.
Right.
Sugar is a legalized drug. You just explained a person being addicted to a drug. They utilize that drug to escape whatever the fuck is going on in their life that they don't want to deal with. They use that mechanism to take them somewhere else where they ain't even got to worry about it. And that point, that's why I said it's an addiction.
But you know the craziest thing, like if I was told right now that, like, to a degree, knock on wood, that I was, something was wrong, or I was sick, or, I had diabetes, or whatever it might be, I would straighten the fuck up. Like, I would literally, I would straighten up, just because I know to a degree, like, what some of these, like, I just know, like, if that makes any sense. So like, I'm doing it now. You would think that it would be like preventative, like, you would do something
because you're living in choice. You're living in choice right now. You're living in choice. You're fine right now. So you have a choice not to eat or not. Now, when you're not fine and is
When
you
you're
know
not
really
given a choice, like I
yeah,
know
then
that I
yeah,
would, if
exactly.
I
You
had
have
to
the
cut
freedom of choice
everything
right
out,
now.
I would literally do
Right,
that. Like
right,
turn away from it and
right.
like a light
So
switch.
it
I
goes
could do
back
that
to
in
what I
certain
said.
situations. It's just the sweets, like
One extreme leads to another.
yeah.
So the
Right.
extreme case in that would be I developed diabetes. That's some extreme shit. So now,
Yeah.
you
Like,
know,
oh hell no. Like
yeah.
I
But
wouldn't
some people
even
can't even
I would
handle that though. Some people still get worse and shit. Just like I said, to escape, like fuck it, I don't, you know what I mean? Like
you
just
know, and I see that.
escape.
I
Period.
tend to tell
They
people
take pills.
sometimes, like, how hard is it just to, and listen to me, how hard is it just to cut something out if you know, like, you're gonna lose your leg or you're gonna this or you're gonna, you're gonna be sick or, like, I tend to tell people that it's hard for me to do it now, but I tell you right now,
But
in
this is
a
what they
lot of
do, Joanne.
situations, I am like a light switch. Like, if I just tell myself, like, and it's done. With sweets, it's a
Okay,
little
so what
harder.
so what
But if
about
I
this?
got sick, then yeah.
So what about this, Joe? What if your choice, you know how they say certain things are silent killers?
True.
What if your choice, like Pot said, you're living in choice. What if your choice has festered and created something that was so subtle that you couldn't feel it? You were completely unaware of it.
Don't say that.
And once you get to the crescendo where one extreme leads to another, boom, it happens, whatever it is. And it's something that you can't flick off like a light switch. It's like if you take cancer's curable,
I would heal myself.
right? But when your tissue gets damaged to a degree of not able to repair itself because it has what they call it, necrosis, tissue death.
Necrotic, yeah.
Once it gets to a point where it can't be regenerated because it's just gone, what do we do at that point?
We have to most likely
Make peace.
either you make peace, but see, here's the thing. When you get to that, this is where Big Pharma comes in. And Big Pharma usually Big Pharma comes into
I don't know how I would heal myself, but I would heal myself.
Pharma couldn't. They'll just
no, I'm saying, but this is how they work though. So today, Big Pharma, like if you, I mean, I know that's a different one, but Big Pharma will tell you this: if you take this, you can still eat all the sweets you want, brother. we got something that's gonna help you. You know what I mean? Like they don't. How can I say? They have a solution for your issues and your problems, where you can keep continuing your issues and your problems as long as you take their solution. And people always go that route.
Like
in certain situations that would work, but we're talking about a situation where your relationship has caused a complete deterioration of a particular organ in your body.
All I can say is fast and don't eat and hope get regenerated.
At this point, and keep in mind, I'm talking about something that not is on the verge, or we caught it in time. It has completely ate up something, and now you either face with
fate,
something miraculous, whatever, or transplant. Take something old out, put something new in.
Right.
But
that's a whole different extreme. That's a whole nother planet of
that's a whole nother extreme. But I think that
you'll fix it, Joanne.
Why?
If I had a chocolate, if I could send you some Klondikes, I'll send you some Klondikes. You know what I mean?
But
I would heal myself.
I know you would. Yeah, turn them up and talk to me right now and eat them. And that's the problem. If you had a Klondike right now, and if he had his favorite magical bar, if he had his favorite magical bar right now, and you had a Klondike, right, we would be eating all our favorite, talking about it, and happy with smiles on our face. This is how beautiful this stuff is, and how good it tastes. How it puts you in a whole different perspective.
Because it's happy. It's a happy food, man. It's sugar. Sugar does that to the brain. It makes us, But
Prime example, they jumping around everywhere in the room when they eat. They everywhere. Kids on top of the TV eating they favorite, watching the show with you. You
Because
can't
that's
stop
sugar.
it.
That's sugar. That's what the sugar does.
Yeah.
The sugar is designed to do that.
I
But
think
yeah,
my
man, that's
quality of life would be what it is. I would literally, I don't know how I would do it, but I would heal myself. And to whatever degree of healing
Fasting.
that my body, like if I could only heal to like 75% and that was my max, I would heal myself. However, I would have to live with the consequences of whatever it was, the damage that I've done,
I'll tell you
you
this,
know,
Joanne.
the quality
If
of
I'm
life that I
healing,
have
Joanne,
left.
you're
But I
gonna
would
get to
heal
a
myself.
but don't worry about that. If you have the ability to heal, you're gonna heal 99%.
Yeah.
It's either you don't have the ability to heal or not. You know what I mean? You can't, it's not gonna take you at if your body's showing that it's fighting and it's healing, it's gonna heal to as long as you have the right knowledge and knowing how to get it to a 99%, there is a path to 99%. It's either it don't heal at all.
I already have it
Pot
structured in my
is gonna
head.
be the
Like,
person that's gonna bring you a bad meal while you're in a wheelchair with one leg cut off.
Right. Make her smile, make her forget about her legs. Make her forget she in the wheelchair. She'll be all happy.
I
She'll be going
already
everywhere in that
have in
moment.
my head, like,
Yeah,
you know, like when COVID hit and all of that stuff, like
Oh
in my
my God.
mind, I already have structured like plans for like if let's just say if they, God forbid, if I was told that I had cancer or if I ended up with COVID or if I, you
sound
know,
like me
whatever
now.
it might be.
I
Like
had a contingency
already
plan.
have- huh?
I
That's a
had one too.
contingency-
I
that's a
had to. I
contingency
thought I was
plan.
going. I thought I was going right
have
along with you.
structured plans of how I would heal, like how I would literally, I would heal myself. Guys, if
Strength.
whoever's listening, you guys might think it sounds ridiculous, maybe not.
No, it
but
don't. You should.
I would,
That's
I would literally heal myself. I
Because
know
mind is over
how to
matter.
heal
Mind
myself.
is body.
It's
mind
mind over
control.
matter, but I know a lot of. Granted, I don't do the right things. However, like I know the things that I would need to do in order to
get back on
Get-
track.
get my body like, okay, fuck this. Like this is not happening. You know, I know I would heal myself.
But you know too, when you get to
I
a
would.
certain level too of healing, this is the worst level of healing.
And
When you get to the point where you get like at 99, like let's say you get around 90 or somewhere about 90% or like 89%, somewhere in there. When you get to that pinnacle, most likely you are quick to fall down because when you start feeling good, it makes you even want the good stuff even more. It makes you even want to be in. So once you get, because that's my problem right now. I have an issue with going over 90%. Once I get to like 87 or 90, I start feeling great, real great. I start thinking about all the good things in life. You know what I mean? I start thinking about all the things that taste great, all the stuff, you know, you start thinking because you're feeling good. So even like now everything is even more. And then
I
you
would be
realize
like
like,
a fucking
damn.
drill sergeant.
That
I would
goes
be
back
like a
to
drill
bad
sergeant
relationships.
on my body with my
Yeah.
body. I
That's a
would be
bad
drill-
relationship.
I don't even like to, like, my son works out twice a day and all of that stuff, all of that, even sweating and all of that stuff. Like I would be a drill sergeant with my body. Like it would be something to talk about, like on the news or whatever the case is, because like literally I would reverse. I
So
would
Joe
reverse.
is waiting for the wet napkin to
I'm not
cave.
waiting for it. Don't say that.
Imagine,
you got all the knowledge here though. We're gonna work you through it. So
imagine sitting, literally sitting on a wet napkin,
damn.
waiting for it to tear.
Don't
Damn.
say that.
Yeah, he called you Lord ass.
Waiting for that napkin to tear and it's wet. Like, oh shit! If I eat one more piece, I'm out of here.
Oh
Nah,
my God.
let's move on, man. Let's move on. The
I like
next
that conversation.
the next phase of relationships, you know, having a bad relationship is an actual relationship. Like with let's go to human beings.
Same principles, right? Just different
Same principles, same exact principles. It's just it's not feeding your taste buds and all of that. But to be honest with you, your taste buds are still connected to your brain.
Right.
So the same shit that's going on with our relationships with people is still connected to the brain and the sensation of feeling good and all of that. So the same shit gets released. So bad relationships, well, unhealthy relationships, because I don't like saying bad, because the universe is not going to waste anything, and it's going to utilize every situation in your life to help you evolve. No matter how bad, no matter how good, they are used to help you evolve. So when we meet people and we get into these so-called relationships, sometimes people have a tendency of not really we operate from the ego personality, and the ego says, I like this, I like that, this looks good, this feels good, blah blah blah. We get all of that. That's the ego side. But at the same time, we have a tendency of overriding some of the things that go on in our relationship. And if somebody was able to see it from the outside, they'll have an opinion of it's a good or bad based on their observation, but they don't know the mechanics of what's going on the inside. They're just looking at it like you either in a bad relationship or a good relationship, or I can sense there's a problem. But the bottom line is those symptoms are the tools to help us grow. And most people don't look at relationships that way. They just look at, I like X, Y, and Z. X, Y, and Z is good for me. And if X, Y, and Z is not there, then this is not good for me. And I'm going to delete it from the system, and I'm going to move on to something else. Right. And find something that's going to feed what I like. Not what you need, but what you like.
Right.
That's the whole world. That's what, you know, we were trained. I mean, come on, we was raised to be caught up in our fantasies. You know what I mean? Like, we're addicted to our fantasies. We're addicted to belief in our imagination, because everybody have their own belief system. You know what I mean? So, you know, you want your world to be what you believe in. Like, we all see the world slightly differently and maybe completely upside down. You know what I mean? But we kind of want to mold the world into our liking. What's the word? Liking. So I think that's where that all comes to. When you, like, you know, if you with somebody, like he said, when you need somebody or love somebody, it's like people are so screwed up in that. If you marry for love, in my opinion, you can't really measure that. You can love a person right now. You can see a person love at first sight and spend a week with them, 2 weeks, and didn't hate the hell out of them like in 2 weeks. So it's like you can't.
It was based on.
So it's not really love.
No, I'm just saying, but that's the thing about love. Love can even go for 2 years and fall off. It can, you know, love doesn't. It put it this way: it has a expiration date, and maybe you can live before that expiration date. But
like she said, that's not love. We covered that on another show,
right? But we believe that's love when we see somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, we believe because we have these connections, most likely sexual connection, because that's what really brings about love between two people, because they have a sexual connection.
That's not even love. That's going back to your ice cream.
No. Yeah. Just saying, but that's
happy place.
Happy place. Yeah. We're in love with our happy places. That's what I'm saying.
Same shit.
We're in love with our happy places, dog. Yeah, exactly what you said. We're in love with our happy places.
Sometimes when the sex is over, when the sex is
you don't even want to be around.
Exactly. So it's like enjoying that bowl of ice cream. Sometimes you have a moment and it's gone. And some people have a bad relationship with that.
Yep.
Have a bad
relationship. That's how money is spent. That's how a lot of money is spent. A lot of people spend a lot of money for the moment. You know what I mean? You know, people put so much money just for that happy place. Because, you know, we don't feel like that. It's hard to feel like that. It's hard to find that happy place. So if somebody, a woman or whatever it is,
it's not hard to find it.
No, I'm not saying it's hard, because I already got over that myself now. I'm just saying, but it's not easy, dog, because like if somebody puts you in a happy place for about, you know, like for a few hours, and you know, you don't see them for a while, and then they give you a price or something. Let's just say they gave you a price. You'll put up a lot of money just to be in that happy place for another 3 hours. That's how I feel like, not to go there, but I feel like a lot of females use that energy, that power towards men. Because men, I see, give up a lot of money just for a moment. A lot of money. I mean, money. Niggas give up more money than we made in a lifetime just for 2 hours of a moment. You know what I mean? Like
But that
that's how
pendulum,
serious that is.
that pendulum swings in both directions. So even though she's making a lot of money doing that, you gotta understand now she has a bad relationship with the act of sex.
Yeah. Yeah,
she
true.
got a bad relationship with it to the
Right.
point where she's able to do that just to get the money. So now
Right.
what happens when she gets into a situation where she really wants to bond with a person, like on some real shit?
Yeah.
Now,
Oh, I never even thought about that.
it's a struggle for you to really sincerely bond with a person because you've utilized that act as a means
As a tool.
of monetary.
Game.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
So damn,
so
how do you
then you
connect with a person for real? You done burnt this shit out.
and it's hard. You're right. It's kind of hard for a person to do that when they know they can easily go back to that. Like if they try, let's say some people that are used to living those kind of lifestyles,
That's
making a lot of
crazy.
money like fast, then they try to get into something serious. Sometimes they are so eager to get back to that lifestyle. You know what I mean? Because it was quick and fast and it's a lot of money instead of all the stress of what brings forth a relationship and communication. And some people can't handle that because they program themselves for only moments. You know what I mean? I'm a moment guy. Shit, to be honest with you. Now I
I
am.
was gonna say that, Pot. I swear I was gonna say, Pot. I think you would do well with, and I think you would do well with just having somebody there when you feel like being in your happy
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, that's me.
Whatever,
That's
and
me.
then they can go, and then when you
Right.
guys feel like seeing each other again, then
Right.
you know,
It's like
and
ice
you're
cream.
good
It's like
that.
ice
I
cream. I just be
swear,
in a happy place. That's it. And I
And
don't mind paying for the ice cream. And that's the problem because I like the ice. If I like the ice cream, I don't mind paying for it. I just don't want
even
to
if you like a
stuff it in
person,
my
I
mouth
think
24/7.
even if you like a person, I think them being around too much would
Right. I
probably
can't
get
do it.
on your nerves. Like,
Right. Yeah, that's what I
why is
said.
she
So I don't
here?
mind paying for the ice cream
now
because I like to have the
let me,
moment temporarily.
let me
Gosh.
take what he just said, right? And he said the same thing that I've been saying. This is his way of rationalizing, how he
Right.
interfaces with that. But everything that he said, we are all doing just on a bigger scale. The universe has obliged certain relationships, regardless of how they're set up, right? And that relationship may be designed to run 6 years for your evolution. And when those 6 years are up, the universe will say, you know what? Okay, this course has run the 6-year mark. Now it's time for me to evolve these individuals out of this situation and place them in something else. So it's a bigger, you're taking his small moment for him. But if you look at everybody on the planet, it's just spread out that we call relationships that even if people are together 10, 20, 30, 40 years, the bottom line is that whole setup is for evolution, to evolve on both parts. Both of y'all are evolving. And there's an expiration date on it. And you got two ways to expire that relationship. You evolve out of it and move on to something else, or you transition.
Like
No, you transition.
Oh.
You die. You gone. It's over.
Yeah, but usually you die gone. That means that you consider it a drug. Like you consider it your life now. You don't put nothing. You just like like people that do drugs. They don't transition over them. I mean, they don't get over the drug. They just do the drug until the drug destroys them. So that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes you can become caught up in an addiction to a point where you don't know nothing better, even if you're miserable and everything. But it becomes a drug to just be miserable, to deal with that situation, just like a drug. It's good now, but it's destroying you deep down inside. So I think that's what you mean. Like,
let's go higher. Let's go higher because you said
okay, we just fine. How
drug
big is this
will-
lab?
the drug will destroy them. Actually, the drug won't destroy them. That's the ego. That's our ego perspective on life. It killed such and such. It took out such and such. It destroyed such and such. Here's the thing. People have to transition out of this reality by any means necessary. How you go, I don't know. You'll meet that fate whenever it comes. But the bottom line is you got a date with destiny. That's number one. So if a crackhead gets high in ODs, that was his expiration. That's how he was supposed to go. So he's out
Yeah.
of here. Now, we'll look at that and be like, the crack killed him. The crack, whatever. You got to understand that whole scenario was already set in motion for this person to transition at this particular time to leave this dimension. And if they had information on that, they could have avoided that shit. That's why we don't have the information on it, because we can't avoid our date with destiny. Because if we had information on it, we can avoid it. Damn, nigga, you're going to get hit by a car at 2:00 on Tuesday in 2023.
But that's uncontrollable destiny. When you talk about crack and shit that destroy you, I mean, that's a little different. Like, you already swimming in a pool of death, even though this is
it's controllable from your perspective.
Right. But see, that's different.
Even if controllable from their perspective.
Oh, okay. But I'm just saying, but for a crackhead, I mean, you would think you can stop doing crack without dying from the shit. You know what I mean?
No, that's not what I'm saying. Oh, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, regardless of the situation, you still got a date with destiny, whether you smoking crack or not.
Yeah, we all do. You got a date too.
It doesn't matter. So what I'm saying is, that was that particular person date with it and how they was going to transition up out of here. It's not for us to judge.
But you know what?
What?
One more thing. But you know my analysis on that.
We ain't going there because that's gonna send us left.
I'm just saying. Me and Destiny have a relationship, and I don't know who got the power in that, but that's all I gotta say about me and Destiny.
Okay. We'll let you have that. We'll save that for the anime show.
Damn.
But what I'm saying is that the relationships that we get into, regardless of what they are, whether it be our job, money, our personal relationships, they're tools to help us evolve. And how long that evolutionary process takes, we don't get to dictate that. You might come here and get with a person to be with that same person for the majority of your life, right? But that's what was ordained for you to evolve to the next level, and the next level might be in the next life, right?
I was gonna say,
or it might be in this life. But the bottom line is, you got to ride out that particular situation. You have to. It's a relationship that is cosmic, not ego. The ego is, take for instance, you ever see two people that probably should be together because it all looks like it just lines up right, but they're not together for whatever reason. Shit prevents them from getting together for whatever reason.
Right.
But it seems like it should be that way because it's not in the cosmic plan. Take, for instance, again, Jay-Z comes here, Jay-Z sells drugs, Jay-Z becomes a billionaire, right? I'm pretty sure he did some bad shit in the streets, right? You take the average person who's out here striving, they want to be a millionaire, billionaire, whatever. They're doing everything in their power to achieve that shit. It's not happening. So why the fuck Jay-Z gets to be a billionaire who obviously sold crack and did whatever else to whomever and did whatever, but you got the person who's done none of that. They're here working towards that same goal, and it's hard as fuck for them to get there. They may not even get there because it's not in the cosmic plans for them to be a millionaire, because the universe got some other shit for them to do to serve the web of existence. And that particular job has to be done by that person, and they can't override their paperwork. They got to do what the fuck they were sent here to do. Jay-Z came here to be Jay-Z. It's simple. Take, for instance, me personally. I always wanted to be rich, like a millionaire, right? And I have $1 million ideas. Like, trust me. Like, I'm that's just how I think. A part of me feels like the universe will not allow that. It's not in my paperwork because I got some other shit to do that's more important. And if money was in the play to that degree, it would take me off my course. I probably wouldn't even be worried about, we probably wouldn't have this discussion because I'd be into some other shit other than my agenda on why I came here in the first place. Make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. I always say, like, till this very moment, I feel like I should be wealthy. But it's not until you said that where, like, yeah, it would take you off course. It would definitely take you off course because having that at your disposal, like, you know, like you would be off course.
I've played these scenarios in my head a gazillion times. Now, don't get me wrong. If I had the money, I definitely would be in service to humanity of helping people.
Right.
But
your sole purpose.
That's not my gift. My gift
right.
is to I don't like to say things like minister, but I have a message to give.
Right.
And, you know, I just know I look at my life from an honest lens and I'd be like, you know what, if I was in that position. Yeah. Because keep in mind, it feeds, you know, a lot of money feeds all of your shortcomings. Yeah. All of your addictions, all of the things that you into that you try to keep at bay because you can't afford to be just a slave to it all the way. But if you have a unlimited amount of currency and money, every thing that you desire, whether good or bad, you now have access to it.
Right.
And what road is that going to send you down? So I think the universe keeps certain people away from certain shit for a reason.
And I swear I only looked at it that way because you said that. Because for me, like, there's certain things now, like, I feel like my kids are older. There's certain things that I don't feel like I want to do. So I would probably have somebody driving me. I would probably have a chef to, you know, just to say, like, this is what I want. This is what's going on, blah, blah, blah. Like, so yeah,
it sounds like a happy place.
But see,
sounds like a real happy place.
There's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with having your living space like that and still be a person of purpose. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But I'm
trying to be more purpose.
You have disposals of millions of dollars that's going to put you in a position where, you know, you may not even be home to do those things, to have your chef cook for you or have someone drive you around, because for one, you get the $1 million, you got to maintain it. You got to move it around. You got to diversify. You got to do some shit. So you're going to be involved in things that's going to pull you away from that, especially if you get into work where you're helping people. Because I know if I had the money, I would be helping a lot of people. That's going to require your presence. That's going to require you to be involved in certain things, and you're going to have to go do that. Versus me, I'm going to be honest with you. I would build some sort of, if I had a bunch of land, I would build like a huge spiritual temple or some shit where people can come and
that.
Fountains.
It fits. I was going to say it fits.
You know, fishing ponds, you know, people just, you know, it would be just some lavish spiritual. I can leave the world behind and come and just relax and get a massage and you know, meditate and fast and whatever. Like, that's what
I would build a castle. I would build a castle, bro. I would really try to buy some land somewhere far and really build a castle, like a real castle, dog. I would try to build a castle, and I'll be building it myself with machines. I like to do stuff by myself.
Now, this explains why that food takes him to a place, a happy place, a comfortable place, because his signature energy ultimately, Pop, where your Godzilla at? You still got Godzilla and all that shit?
Yeah,
so you gotta understand he's a kid at heart. Like that is his grounding. And anything that associates with that feeling, that's where he's most comfortable. That's his lane. Mm-hmm. So it all makes sense on why food will do that to him, but it wouldn't do that to me. I have a different experience if I eat certain foods.
And I build a racetrack too, not to mention.
See? But yeah,
for cars or for horses or what?
Yeah, for cars. No, for cars. For exotic cars. No, I will build a big racetrack.
So,
you know, La La Land, my playland, man. It's my playland, dog.
Your
Castles,
playland.
racetrack. You know what I mean? Like all that stuff. That's yeah, Castle Racetrack. Welcome to my Willy Wonka. You know what I mean? Basically that. I be coming
And you
with
know
some
what,
God
Dre? You
stopping.
said, Dre, you said that like I wouldn't even be home to like have a chef cook for me or whatever because I have to maintain certain things or whatever have you. And if you are doing things to help people, like you have to be present. But I think me, in a sense, I would probably, to a degree, have pay people to do that. Like
She would own a cheesecake factory, dog. Go ahead.
you know why?
would
You know why we
probably.
disagree with you?
You disagree? Why?
Yes, because your energy will not allow you not to,
You might be right.
at some point, to go and make sure that that's right.
You might be right.
It's easy for us to pay someone to handle that, but it's one thing, depending on who you are, and that for you, you're gonna have to show up.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to lay eyes. You're gonna have to touch it. You're gonna have to make sure that it's, because that's how you are, and that's just
You might be right.
observation. You know,
You might.
and
be
it's
right.
not to say you won't pay a person to start it, but you're gonna have to show up to make sure that shit's right. That's gonna require
Yeah,
your
because
presence.
even as a mom, when I would tell my kids to do stuff, to clean their rooms and things like that, I would, when they left, I would go behind them and redo everything, So like, yeah. So yeah, you might be right.
So that's why certain relationships, personal relationships, are the way they are, because they're preparing us for something. And sometimes our ego, personality blocks that vision. All relationships are preparing us for something, regardless if it's with money. You take, for instance, a person have a bad relationship with money. You got to understand that a person who spends a lot of money, it's hard for them to hold on to it, and they spend it to the point where they deplete everything that they have. But they had a nice time and they acquired things because they bought stuff, but now they broke, flat broke. That's an economic imbalancement. They had the money, but it's gone now. And the question is, what will be the universe job in teaching this person to evolve? They're going to have to be in a situation that's really undesirable for them to evolve out of that situation, to move to a level where they can have a better relationship with their money, where they're not going to be in that undesirable position anymore. And it may take, and here's how it works. If you don't consciously decide before the universe gets to your ass, then you're going to be in a pickle, because the universe don't cushion shit. It's not going to sit down and have a talk with you. It's not going to make you feel good. It's not going to do none of that shit. It's just going to create parameters for you to make a change. That's what it's going to do.
I always say, like with everything, it's voluntarily or involuntarily. It's either or. Like you either willingly do it or it's going to get done, like regardless. So
yeah. Cause and effect.
You don't want to be in a situation where
that's universe.
You had a relationship with something and it cost you your legs, and now your legs are gone, but now you've learned and evolved, and now you're doing better, and now you have a greater sense of purpose, and you evolved away from the situation that caused you to lose your legs. But here's the thing, you got to live with the fact that you ain't got no legs no more.
Is this referring to me in sweets? I have to reevaluate that.
Ain't nobody talking about sweets and diabetes.
I think what you're saying too is cause and effect is the heart of growth. You know what I mean? Like, because for every cause there's an effect, but the effect isn't always the same effect. You know what I mean? Like, but it's all based on cause and effect. I don't think it's a particular assignment. I believe just cause and effect is a learning tool. You know what I mean? Like, it's basically you have to have some sort of balance as you go forward, but you're gonna have a lot of effect because there's a lot of causes in front of you, and you're gonna cause a lot of bullshit around you, like not even knowing. But the cause and effect factor is basically within our DNA, within the universe. The universe is a damn pool of cause and effect. So it's basically everything that happens. There's an effect to it. You know what I mean? And but it's never the same outcome, and that's the thing about it. You know,
your goal is to get to a conscious place where you dictate the level and the degree of how something's going to affect you.
Right.
That's
and sometimes that don't even do shit. Sometimes that is so bad, but that won't even save you. That might even make it even worse for knowing without. It's like it's so it has no real grasp of anything. Like even if it's just that's more like a preparation thing. But even preparation can get your ass caught up in a spider web that's made out of steel instead of made out of whatever the spider web is made out of. But even though we prep ourselves from experience, what's coming before us, sometimes it still ain't enough. You still put you with no drawers on in somebody's backyard with a rusty toilet. You know what I mean?
That all goes back to cosmic purpose. That's what I've been saying the whole time. The cosmic purpose is the place where you're gonna wind up because that's what you came here to do. The ego is a whole different person. The ego wants what it wants. The ego's like what it like. But the cosmic agenda is saying no. And if you don't have any inkling of what your cosmic agenda is, this is the person that's bumping around in the dark trying to figure out shit and wondering why shit's happening. They can't even put 2 and 2 together. They feel like they're a slave to something that they can't even explain.
The fact that my ego thought that you were talking with the missing legs and everything, you were talking about me. I need to reevaluate my situation with Sweets.
Nah, I think you'll be all right, man. But yeah, relationships. Take nature, for instance, the outside world, the phenomenal world, as far as nature and the trees and the vegetation. Man has a bad relationship with nature. This is why we are all kind of like spiraling down a very bad, dark path because we have a bad relationship with nature. We don't respect it. We don't protect it. We don't keep it clean. We don't do what we're supposed to do as caretakers of the earth.
Right.
And now, as a result, it's flip-flopping on us.
Right.
And
we have food, everything.
And we have to live with those consequences. But what is the cosmic agenda? In order for man to evolve on this planet, man has to have a fucked up relationship with nature. Then nature gonna have to turn that shit around and put man in a fucked up situation. Man evolves, and now man has a better relationship with nature as a result of what happened. And that's how this shit works.
That too, but then again, like nature is also just like a personality. Nature, it's like it's a never ending climber. You know what I mean? Like the greater you become, the bigger the obstacles. People don't really realize that though, because we ain't never put ourselves in a greater, position. Like, even the way you think, the greater how you feel that you have an understanding of everything and you can oversee things and all that. But then there's another level. No matter how good you get at anything or what physically, mentally, or what job, there's always a level above you. Nature ain't trying to hear that shit.
No. Nature is trying to hear that because nature also evolves. Nature has evolved.
Yeah, I'm saying it's going to always face you, though. It's always going to show you a face that you have to figure out no matter how great you get at anything or whatever you do. There's always another level, and that level has no ending. It's just a growth level. You know what I mean? You just go as far as you can go, and that's on your strength. Now you got to deal with strength. Now strength can't be measured either. Strength can go beyond. If the universe is endless, strength can be endless too. You can foresee, you can face yourself like, I think we are in mirror images of the universe on a conscious state, whatever you want to call it. I feel like the power inside of us is equal to all the power on the exterior of us, but it's levels to that shit and it's strength to that shit and it's how you see, it's so much more energy involved in this. It's just a never-ending story, man. But it's a happy one and it's a rough one. You're gonna have to climb sometimes with vines, and then you get handles, and whatever it is, you're under the mud, you quicksand, whatever. Like, but
This is a prime example of I'm gonna mention my teacher by name, but Saber Ma used to tell us in the temple that certain questions he will not answer because the student is either not ready or that information it's not time for that information based on the fact that it's going to distract you from your current agenda. Now, there's so much more that we can learn as a species, but there's certain shit that hasn't been given to us because it's going to distract us from our current evolutionary process and shit that we need to conquer right now. And this is why when he was talking, he went past the point of where we need to be. He talked about the point where we're going. We can't expound on where we're going because we ain't got there yet. You're right in the fact that it's endless, but we can't entertain that concept because we got a whole job to do right now, right in front of us, sitting in our lap. And it's so perfect with what my teacher used to tell us. If the dimensions are infinite and there's one above this one, don't get caught up in what's above in the next dimension because you will forsake everything you need to do right here and right now to get you there.
True.
So when it comes to nature and our relationship to nature and how nature is going to force us to evolve, once we make that evolutionary jump, which they call ascension in the conscious community, once we ascend to the next level, nature will ascend, you will ascend, and when we arrive there, we will all figure it out on that level, which will be the next level together. And then we'll have to master that shit before we go on to the next bump up. It's like the slinky, man. Don't forget the slinky.
It never stops. Yeah, but I'm just saying, it just some people think, they're on top, but then they see a whole different world when they're up there. Like it's just a whole new level to climb. Just saying that it's always gonna be like that. Once you get one level, there's always gonna be another level. And if you're strong, you can endure that. It's all about strength to me. Strength is the only way.
Everybody is not gonna endure the ascension or the bump up because they're not ready. They'll come back and they'll pick up where they left off and so forth. And so on. Everybody ain't gonna make the leap. They're not supposed to make the.
They're supposed to, yeah. They're supposed to be kind of. They sometimes they become a example of trying to get to the. They give you information on trying to get to the next. Failure also gives you information.
You're right, but you said it backwards. They will be used as the example on what not to do on the evolutionary bump up. That's why everybody can't do it all at once. Our relationships are not designed for everybody to arrive at the same fucking time. Somebody got to be the fucking example. Crackheads are an example of why you shouldn't smoke crack. Duh.
Right.
Is that a bad trick the universe played on them? I don't know. I'm not here to judge that. All I'm saying is you have to observe that to know I don't want to do X, Y, and Z. Or somebody got to get ran over at the intersection as an example before they put a fucking stop sign on a stoplight right here.
Right.
That's how universe works. It wastes nothing. And we can't look at that as bad. It's all good.
Right.
We're used as an example.
It's all by choice too. Because it's basically an individual
situation is by choice, karmic decision.
Yeah. So yeah, you made a choice and you pay for it, I guess. That's how it is.
So I mean, it is what it is. And I don't trip about that. And it's just like relationships with people. I never tell people to not be with someone or leave someone because I don't know why the universe put y'all together in the first place. Right. I don't know what your lessons are. I don't know what you're supposed to be learning. There's something you're supposed to be learning. Something you're supposed to be gathering from that. So when you do evolve out of it, you're prepared. And that may take a week, that may take 6 months, that may take 5 years, that may take 20 years. The bottom line is our relationships are all tools of evolution to make us better,
Yep.
whether good or
True.
bad. They're all tools.
And what if, yeah, shit, good or bad is still, like we said, there's no such thing as good or bad. It's just on how you perceive it from how it affects you.
Well, what
You know,
I
it's
really
all
needed to say was
lesson.
pleasurable or painful.
Right.
Right. Because that's why, I mean, we're dealing with polarities here, and there is no negative or positive, but there is an opposed polarity. Everything is opposed to, to get to the next level. So it's how you build energy. That's how energy is built. So everything is opposed, opposite.
So in a nutshell, we've pretty much covered our relationships to, our external universe, and those relationships are tools used to push us along. Shit has to happen to push us along. That's just the mechanic of growth. Anybody got any questions or anything that's in their mind before we pop out?
Well,
I won't mention it again.
the whole legs thing and the sugar? Lord have mercy. But you know what? The fact that this discussion has sparked the brain for that to be something that's dancing around in your head goes back to what we just said. Our relationship as, podcast, presenters, it's a relationship and it's a tool. Yeah. And this tool is designed to help people to evolve as well as ourselves. So if it resonated with you, it had to occur at this moment today in this discussion for you to have this itch on your brain to say, I got to see about that.
Yeah.
So you're a witness to how this thing works.
Right. I didn't know I was going to be the example, but I am.
Yeah. Yeah, I try. I mean, we are all, we have to give our emotions their just due. I try not to trip about things I can't control. I think the older I get, the more acceptive I become to certain situations. And I'm at a place where instead of being super emotional about it, I make conscious steps now. I try to stay ahead of the curve, no matter what it is. Because you have some people, especially women, I'm not picking on them, but sometimes women have a tendency of not wanting to entertain certain ideas because it's so scary. But they don't want to talk about it, or they don't want to, why are you thinking negative? Or why are you bringing that up? Or they don't want to deal with the reality.
Logic. You're talking about the logic part. It's logical. They don't want to deal with the logic. That's all. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Terrifying to them, regardless of what it could be about their relationship. You could be like, look, I shit may happen, or what if we, wind up going our separate ways or whatever. And they might go ham on you because of that, because they don't want to entertain that concept. But they living in a world where that doesn't exist. It's like a multiverse. I just watched the Doctor Strange shit. That's a whole nother dimension that they living in where that doesn't exist. And you're trying to explain to a person to say, hey, look, we live in a realm of infinite possibility. So that's possible that can happen. We need to talk about that now. Have a plan now. But
it's like fantasy versus reality.
Exactly. But you know what's so bad about that? What he just said, though? Make a plan. See, when you start making plans for something like that, you're creating that scenario. Like. See, you kind of. It's like more of a curse at the same time. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's why
logic is logic, and
that's why
belief
probably don't want to hear it.
Because so
why are you speaking that into?
I think
because the preparation might bring you right to that. It might bring, because now it's both in your mind. You set it in your mind. You know what I mean? Like, it's already set in both people's mind as they bonding. So now to understand,
you had it in your mind.
I disagree.
You said it, and you planted the seed. You planted the seed for the woman that.
So every little thing between y'all, every little thing said between y'all is gonna have a new effect on y'all minds, even if y'all in love. Now that was put to the table, like, a logic was put to the table. So once that logic was put to the table, her emotions versus your logic is going to interact with everything you do now. So it might create separation, period. It might just create separation. Any little thing you say.
Pod has a slight point.
No, wait. So you're saying the fact that you entertain a thought will create the scenario to separate you guys. That means you can override. Wait. So that means you have the power. So that means you have the power to override destiny just by thinking it. Or was it already set? Yeah. Which one?
Oh,
well, when you tell a person that
if that happens,
whatever it is, we can't really grasp that. But I know when you let a person know like some real logic like that, like between two, one person really thrives on maybe like more of their emotions and the other person deals with logic. When they interface each other, the person with emotion is now going to be paying extra attention to everything you say and do, and it might create some type of interference with what was natural, like some kind of like a natural thing, and then you too are going to start reacting from your logic to their fantasy, and it's going to I'm just not saying not everything is correct.
I disagree. I get what he's saying. I just disagree with it. I get what he's saying.
I get what he's saying, but you can create that.
You can override destiny. You definitely can't override.
Yeah, let destiny be destiny though. Don't join destiny. Shit, you want to?
So you're saying as a person. So you're saying as a person of intelligence,
right?
A person of practicality. Are you telling me to override that and just walk?
What I'm saying is best not to mention it. It's best to just deal with the happiness between y'all instead, because you built something new.
I'm okay. So you're saying keep that to myself, right?
Right.
And allow that person. Wait.
I don't agree.
Keep that to myself and allow that person to live in their fantasy.
This is what I'm trying to tell you. If you love her and she loves you,
no.
Listen. If you love her and she loves you, but you're gonna go to logic. Logic is, this might not, things happen and this and that and all that stuff. Once you plant that seed, it creates sort of walls. Once you deliver that kind of seed in somebody's head, no matter what, it's gonna add something new to what y'all had. Like you can live in fantasy, either one out, whatever it is. But once you start throwing logic,
I get what
I hear what you're saying. I disagree.
Yeah, I'm saying, but so you might end the relationship. She's gonna become more fantasy. Like she's gonna be more against.
I don't think Dre. I don't think being quiet and letting somebody live in their fantasy is the right way either.
But what I'm saying is mentioning it. You shouldn't even mention it. It just shouldn't be mentioned. Y'all should just live happy. Like
what type of I'm
is
that? That's not living your truth.
And let.
See now, if you saying it, then you telling her that you don't. For you to say it, most likely, I'm gonna be real. For you to say it to her. You basically telling her that you don't see yourself. You don't see. I'm saying through what you said, like through the logic, like you say, okay.
I have a way of conveying that where it don't come off as me being.
I know that
pessimist.
It doesn't matter how you feel. It's the energy that you just put off on it. That's what I'm just saying. Like when you get too logical, and I'm learning this too. When you get too logical, you create these scenarios. You create these. You gotta just live in.
But you can't. You can't just be quiet. Pot, I was with you until just now.
What?
I was so with you until just now.
So
you can't just be quiet. Like I wouldn't want to.
Let's take me and you together.
Fantasy of a relationship or this whole
That's
fantasy,
how it works, though.
And then
you're being quiet and you're not saying the truth of things. Like I wouldn't want to be in that. Like I like tell me the truth or tell me what you.
No, that is the truth. No, I'm saying like he not going saying that he didn't want to be with the person. He was just being logical
about a possibility, like 50-50.
So you gotta leave that out of it.
This is an evolutionary thing. When two people have evolved to a place in their life where they can deal with reality as it is, You don't have to hide behind bushes to cater to somebody's fantasy of how they want things to be. When you
I agree
are
with.
dealing with someone and they've evolved out of that, and and mostly older people. Older people they've been around the block.
Right.
So it's like, look, let's not shoot the shit. Like, you build a bond based on practicality, not fantasy.
Right.
Once you get older, you're supposed to. So my thing is this. I'm not shattering your dream and your hopes and your fantasy. That's not what I'm saying. Only thing I'm saying is it's kind of like the military. The military has planned for nuclear war. We ain't fucking with the nuclear war with nobody. But they plan for it. They plan for every possible scenario that can occur. That's what they do. Does every possible scenario occur? No, it doesn't.
No,
but they prepared for it. And that's all I'm saying. So if somebody's going to take my practicality and be like, well, you got doubt, and no, I don't have doubt. I'm with you. Let's do it. But the only thing I'm saying is if X, Y, and Z occurs, it's kind of like when people get married and they got prenups and all this type of shit, right? That's some shit that man has placed inside of a relationship on some shit that may or may not occur. Some people have a problem with it. Most don't. So my thing is this. I'm a realist. I'm a practical person. Let's talk practical. People don't want to talk about death. They don't want to bring that shit up. I don't want to talk about life insurance and none of that shit. No, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to hear it. The reality is it's going to happen. Let's talk and prepare now. If that pops your bubble, I don't know what to tell you. But I gotta
agree with what you're saying.
Yeah,
it makes
that's
sense.
All I'm saying.
But I also understand what Pot is trying to say. Like,
yeah, I get what he's saying. But you got to understand
but
the type of people that he deals with. They have that level of insecurity. They still dealing in the fantasy world.
You put it in the sense of as far as death and life insurance and those type of things or whatever have. People don't like to talk about death. So it's the same kind of thing of like with a relationship. It's like the death of a relationship, I guess.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So I get it. Like, it makes sense. It makes sense.
So you have to prepare for that. And, let me tell you something, man. You have, I chose women because they don't be wanting to hear that shit. But at the same time, you got some women, they gonna bring it to you before you can bring it to them because they've been around the block and they've been through the bullshit.
Right.
They want to cut through all the fat and be like, okay, I ain't got time to be wasting. I ain't got to play no games, no nothing.
Right.
What it is, because you have some women to tell men, you're a man. You're gonna be a man. Here's what I expect a man to do, and here's what I'm willing to tolerate.
Right.
So she's pretty much saying, okay, men are going to do X, Y, and Z. For you, don't do X, Y, and Z because I know you're going to do X, Y, and Z. But this is the person who lives in practicality.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Which makes a lot of sense.
So,
I'm
a practical person. I don't like to be... It's enough shit in life to be surprised about.
Even being practical, you could still bust a bubble or two.
How?
Well, I mean, if you're being practical and somebody else is in their fantasy and their whole, it's like trying to explain death to someone. Like, you're still busting a bubble. You know what I mean? Like, because whoever whoever it is doesn't want to hear that, like, to that degree. So it's regardless, you're still busting a bubble.
And I think just for me, I think people like that are, for me, they can become a weight, they can become a liability for me.
Damn, this phone, man.
Because I need you and me to be on the same page.
Yeah, I don't think that's just, well, maybe I agree with what you're saying. I don't think it's just for you. I think for a lot of people that would be like a weight. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're operating on different levels, then you know, you're in reality or some sort of practicality, and then somebody else is in a fantasy. It's kind of like, how do you get those two worlds to
You don't.
collide? You know, like to.
That's why you don't kind of mention anything. You just let the
don't.
flow just flow how it is.
No, he's
Because
right.
they can create.
But yeah.
With those people, you got to let them have that. With those people, you got to let them have that.
Yeah, but that's hard. Like, how do you let somebody, you're supposedly in a relationship or with somebody, how do you let somebody have a fantasy and you are in this practical, like, you know, then that means like
Well, 'cause
something
it's kind
does
of like you
happen.
telling them that you don't plan on being with them. If you, I mean, if you don't plan on that, then it's all good.
I get
It's
what
all
you're
good
saying.
if you're not.
I totally get what you're saying. But
They're gonna
however,
take it emotionally the wrong way, and it's gonna create a lot of things that y'all gonna
I
be
think
kind
that's
of
gonna be
arguing
like a
about.
collapsed building. If something
Yeah,
was to happen, then that would
yeah.
be like a really hard fall. Like, you know, if you
Hey,
just
but
let
you
a
gotta
person
take
be
it
in
hard
their
fall in life.
fantasy.
Yeah, like we said, hard falls are necessary though. You know what I mean?
Well, then yeah, you might have a point. Yeah, hard fall.
I'm not
I
gonna
mean, you
fall
literally
hard.
talked about that. We
They
said
will.
hard falls,
No,
like,
they will
you
be
know, it's
because
necessary.
you're in a practical state. But if somebody in a fantasy and you let them have that fantasy, if that, so to speak, practicality does happen, you know what I mean, or that other side does, then they're gonna hit the concrete pretty hard, like,
Because they live in a
because
Yeah,
bubble.
they're
because
in a
you
fantasy.
already
They're
hit
not
them when
looking at it
once
from
you
another
tell them that, you already destroyed their you already destroyed their happiness when you told that.
She's
That
saying if you don't tell a person this, if you let them have
oh,
their
oh, oh,
bubble.
yeah, true.
Yeah, if you let them have their fantasy, like, if something does happen, then they're
Right,
going
it
to
just
hit the
happened.
concrete
Y'all
pretty
both
hard.
gotta live with it.
But like you
Y'all
said,
both gotta
maybe
live
the
with it.
fall is necessary for
Yeah,
growth
because
or for
that's
some
like a
sort of.
natural order, right? Wouldn't that be a natural order, Dre? Like, wouldn't that be a little more natural than
The
kind of
whole
setting?
process. The whole
Yeah,
process
yeah.
is a tool. Is the whole shit is a
Yeah.
tool, regardless
So
of.
it's really on your you know how it's really on how you see it. I'm not saying you wrong or right. I'm just saying, but once you tell the other side that, they're not gonna be as forward and happy as they was before you told them. That's all. So
Yeah,
that
because
might
they're gonna have question. It's gonna be a question mark.
so
Like,
it
oh,
might
is he
destroy the
thinking about breaking
relationship. It
up? Is
might
he
bring it to
thinking
them.
about, you know? It's like,
But you know how you
like,
Yeah.
squash that. If you know how you squash that, you just tell a person, look, have you had, relationships before me? They're probably gonna be like, yeah. How many? More than I can count on, two hands, right? Cool. Are you with any of those people now? No. They all ended, right? Yes. So by me having this conversation with you, why is it so foreign?
Because when you have that conversation, that person probably is going to start feeling resentful towards you from experience and start not.
Why?
It might create a separate. I'm just saying, man. You can create. You might be
And
putting
with
that
10
like
people already that relationships did not work. This is nothing
exactly, and they don't want to feel that way, knowing that this possibly. Put it this way: you start making them feel the same way that they was feeling getting out of those relationships, and they already get over you, and then it won't work out anyway. It's like you already put them under mental pressure. All I'm saying is,
I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying it's bad or anything. I'm just saying, but
yeah, I
you
understand what Pot is saying.
like if somebody that I was crazy about, and then they was like female. Let's say I'm just head over heels with this female, and I think she loved me to death. Let's say she really do love me to death. But after these words, I'm just saying, but. Let's say I'm all on my high and shit, happy, you know what I mean? And then this motherfucker come out and be like, well, this might, let's speak logic,
this might not
your
work.
parent, this and that. And that person be like, you be like, then you start thinking like that too. And that's why I said now every conversation and everything is going to be enhanced to something else. Because now every little word you say,
because
you know how people are when they are very emotional.
Younger.
I just think you should be a very for me, I have a way with words. So
oh shit, Casanovio. We ain't gonna be together, but I still got roses.
No, I understand because I've been there. But that was like the less mature me, like not You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's usually for somebody like that. So you shouldn't have to say that to somebody that is
Right.
mature though.
right.
So if
I
you have
mean,
to
you
say
know,
it, that's hard. If you have to say it, like he was saying, and you just said, when you at a certain age, yeah, that's both in both of y'all minds. Y'all have an understanding that yeah, it's all good right now, but but you're not gonna put it
there's
in
a
words to
possibility
each other.
that,
You know what I mean? Like yeah,
the,
you know
the
what I mean.
younger
So
me can
yeah,
understand. I understand totally what you're saying. Like, they would just
right,
bust your bubble just off that, bringing up that topic alone. However, as
exactly,
you get
exactly.
older
But
and you mature, you
you don't have to say
understand
it.
that nothing, like, the shit happens. Like, nothing is
Right.
written in
But
stone.
usually
I mean,
y'all
if
don't
it
have to
is,
say
we
that.
don't know what it is, but like, as you mature and you get older, you understand that there are some conversations that have to be had, like, period.
But you
Like,
shouldn't have to have that conversation though if you older though. That you both people from having experience know that this might not happen. So they don't even bring it up to bring that energy in the house anyway. It's like you're supposed to know this at a certain age for sure. You know what I mean? Like you shouldn't even have to like have this conversation. That conversation shouldn't even have to be had. But like I'm saying, but if you're dealing with a younger
to a
person,
degree, I get what you're
it
saying
might have
too.
to be, you know what I mean? So I'm saying it does have to do with age too.
It has a
If
lot to
a
do with maturity.
So
Maturity,
so it's
I
not
would
even
say.
Dre. You don't even have to bring up that. You don't have to bring up that conversation with with a mature woman. I mean, she pretty much inside know that, and you know that. But if you're talking to somebody that's young, that doesn't know how to deal with their emotions or their experiences, and that's gonna cause more bullshit. I just believe they're more sensitive, like because they don't fully understand that. You know what I mean? But if you do it to a person that has experience, that been in and out of relationships, I look at a lot of shit like that too now, but I don't ever mention it or no shit like that. And I think I have. I ain't gonna
Like, a
lie to you. I
certain
know some
level of
people
understanding. Like, if
yeah, it's like you should know that already. You should know not
there's
to
a
tell them
certain
off
level of
that.
understanding where
Yeah,
it's like, okay, there's certain conversations that don't pluck a nerve, or bust the
right,
bubble, or pull you out of some sort
right,
of fantasy, because it is like a realistic reality
Hell,
of
that
right.
person might wake up one morning and just tell you they don't want to fuck with you no more because they just see life
And just
different.
from saying that, that's a part. Just from saying that can fucking create that quick.
What do you want, Papa?
So it is
So
what it is.
yeah, it's like
I get it.
it is that see, these are universal things, man. Like you said, that it's like the universe. It has not really have a clear picture until the results are done. You know what I mean? That's how it is. You know what I mean? Like you could come in with two guns and the person got a knife. You can say, oh, the guy with the two guns is gonna win this battle, and all of a sudden he got a knife stuck between his throat. Guy hit him in the throat with the knife before he even raised the guns. You know what I mean? So it's like it's basically you can't come up with anything, but the logic is, oh, the guy with the two guns is definitely gonna win that fucking fight. But at the end of the day, this dude knew how to throw a knife right to the throat, took him out before he even reached for the damn guns. So
Yeah.
That was
that's something the
complicated,
universe.
but it made sense to me.
Yeah.
Definitely made sense.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
yeah.
We are we're at the hour and 52-minute mark. Kind of went over today, but we ain't been on here in a while,
Hey,
so
good show.
Right.
had to catch up. But
So
relationships, man, you just gotta have balance, and balance is the key because the pendulum
respect too.
swings in both directions, and you don't want the same force that you're going into something to push you back out of it. So you got to bring
Right.
balance. So when it comes to your foods, bring balance. Have a good relationship with your food to the point where you can either have it or not have it. It just don't matter. But when it matters, if you have that chicken or that ice cream, that's a whole different animal that you're gonna have to deal with. And if you're creating scenarios where it's keeping you away from shit, whether it be people, relationships, food, money, you're hiding. And when those fortresses get broken down, now you got to deal with this shit again. So you got to conquer it. You got to have healthy relationships with things. Far as people are concerned, I just learned that, free will, well, we can get into the free will thing later, but people will choose to do whatever the hell they want at any given moment in time. You have no control over that.
It's
And
true.
you have to adjust to that shit. A motherfucker can
Right.
choose to do whatever they want. They're not robots. And that's
Don't
where
belong to you.
that's why exactly. So that's why I was
Right.
saying, you know, have a practical conversation with someone because they have the power to choose at any moment not to be with you or whatever, or do whatever. And
That's
there's
very
nothing you
true.
can do about that. But nobody
Right.
wants to really have that conversation. We want to
Right.
act like shit's sweet when really it's not about it being sweet. It's about the possibility of things happening because a person has the power to do so. And it's hard for us to
Right.
get out of that spectrum. That's why we did the show on this trust and illusion. Trust is an illusion because what are you trusting? You're trusting a person not to be a person. You're trusting a human
Right.
not
Right.
to be a human.
Exactly.
Right.
Trusting a crackhead
Exactly.
not to be a crackhead. Like
Right.
we just got to get this shit in perspective. And once you put it in perspective and be practical about it, it just works a lot better. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, guess who made that up? Guess who made
That
that
makes
up?
sense.
Your oppressor made that shit up to conquer your ass. Trust me. Trust me. They taught you to trust.
Yeah.
And when you trust, you allow the wrong motherfuckers to control your life because you trust them.
you should if you go into a situation where you have trust, I think the first level of trust is in self. Trust yourself to do what self does because nobody knows you
What you
better
have to
than
do.
you.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
think the second level of trust is met with what we were talking about earlier, having a practical conversation. So if you're going to confide and invest in someone, then let's have a practical conversation because I know the variables are you can pick and choose to do whatever you want at any given time, and I have no control over that. So there's no harm in me
Right.
having a conversation about the fact that this shit may end at some point, you know?
Son.
Not because I'm gonna make it end. You can decide that you don't want to be here no more. Where does that
But you-
leave
Right.
me? So let's talk.
You just made me realize that death, like transitioning, and death of like, you know, the ending of a relationship, those are two conversations that many people don't really want to have, which is crazy.
It can be curseful and it can be a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Like the stuff could be curseful on
It's
the other
fear.
division.
It's fear.
It's a lot
Yeah,
involved
it's all
in that.
fear.
It's fear. That's all it is.
Yeah,
It's
but-
fear.
That's an energy that can really turn the tables on shit. That's why people don't want to be bothered with it because those are very sensitive energies and they're very true, and that can really alter your reality by throwing that truth out there. That's the problem with that. So not everybody is built to live on truth. They want to live in fantasy to keep them happy and everything else. But if you start throwing truth to them, you know, truth is a hard thing, man. Truth is, you know, I could pretend I could take a punch to the face from somebody 800 pounds with a fist the size of this planet. Like, yeah, I could take a punch, but when they really do it, can I really take that shit?
You know what I mean?
Sometimes
care if I
you know,
can take it or not. I'd rather you tell me the truth. Just tell me the truth.
okay,
So
I'm gonna tell you the
over what
truth.
I need
Stop
to
me
get
that
over,
goddamn ice
or
cream. Now let me stop.
get under, get through, whatever the case is. But truth, I don't care if it hits me, punches me in the face like a.
Oh yeah, true
Mac
indeed.
truck.
That
I
kind of
don't
truth,
care.
yeah,
Give me the truth.
being
like,
now real
and
truth
I'll
is
figure
different
out how
though.
to make that work.
Real truth is different. That kind of truth, letting somebody know that you don't want to be with her for long term, or knowing that I just want this and
I
that.
don't care. What
That is a
truth
great
it is,
truth.
Just give me the
But
truth.
predicting what might
I don't
happen
give a
to
fuck
both of
what kind
y'all
of truth it is.
is
Just tell it
dangerous.
to me so I
Like,
can
make
figure
it
out
predict-
how I'm gonna cope and how I'm
I
gonna
don't even
fix
think it's
it.
dangerous. I think it just boils down to the level of maturity of the person.
It is
And
maturity.
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
maturity.
personally-
That's all it is. It's
I
maturity.
try
true.
not to even deal with people
And it's
who,
fear.
not on that level because it's draining for me. Like to downgrade your vibration to deal with somebody who's not on your vibration.
That's
is
exhausting.
It's unhealthy. It's unhealthy.
I'm gonna tell you what I dealt with. Just
Exhausting.
like what you said,
No.
telling the truth. I actually said that in my past. I mean, my past situation. Just like you be telling the truth, I be telling the truth. I'm the same type of motherfucker. I said, like, you know, I always throw that shit out there. And guess what I hear all the time? Do you love me? All like here and there, you know, do you love me? This and that. I'm just saying that's the kind of shit I'm talking about that interrupts the energy. Like, because now that you
Does
said
get
that
on your
to them,
nerves?
But that's
it's
a
like, hell
I think that was
yeah.
the person. But I think that was the person, man. I think that was the person.
No, I'm just saying, but from her hearing that from me, now she's on this different thing, like being desperate, trying to to make me happy because I said that, because she's now questioning me loving her from me telling her the truth of an outcome that is very possible. So that's basically where I got that information from. So when
If a
she
person tells you the truth about something, they have to have a level of respect for you.
Right.
yeah,
People lie out of
Right.
fear. People lie out of fear of
Yeah.
what might happen.
yeah, and that's all I heard. Oh, do you love me? Do you love me? Like after conversations, do you love me? Call me. You know, think
And I
about
think
like
people don't
it
want to
just
hear things out of like it's maturity, and it's also fear. It's fear and it's maturity. Like because you know, once you get a certain age, like you don't want to. I don't sugarcoat things. I don't want to. I don't want to do the back and forth. Just it is what it
you
is. Like
sugarcoat stuff all the time. What are you talking about? Sugarcoat.
I do.
You don't
It's delicious.
sugarcoat things. Come on, man.
And it's
We already know
delicious.
you like to sugarcoat. Ice cream cake, and that's a lot of sugar
Right,
coating.
right, right.
Ice cream cake. I ain't had that shit since. Damn.
This ain't nothing like ice cream cake, brother. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Oh
Oh,
my gosh.
sweet potato pie and ice cream. You ever had sweet potato pie and ice cream?
Sweet potato pie.
Let's go
my
let's go
God.
ahead and close out, and then you can talk about
Come
your
on,
sweet potato
dog.
pie. Yeah, you can
Yo,
talk
that's
about
the
your
next
sweet potato
show.
pie.
Sweet potato
No,
pie.
we're not talking about no
Ice
sweet potato pie. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna holler at you. I'm your brother Mordeeb. This is Brainwashed on Heavy by way of POD. I'm glad y'all tuned in, and we had a nice show. Yeah. God bless and good night. Like
It's out.
Russell Simmons used to say on Def Comedy Jam.
Right.